Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Uh, a little bit of challenges. I was traveling, and last night Wi-Fi was really bad, so sorry about that. I always try to get these in before I go to sleep. So, fortunately, it's the first time I'm actually doing it the day after, but we're going to get another one later on today because I said I am traveling. As you guys know, I was at a VIP reunion for my university. They had this thing for Student Government Association. I was one of the presidents. So they had this event last night from 6 to 8. Got back to the hotel, and Wi-Fi was just not working well enough in the hotel for me to be able to stream, unfortunately. So, like I said, we are on another great episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, staying with me. Really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And also want to thank those of you that keep tuning in again. They've been loyal, friends, colleagues, associates. Thank you. Thank you so much. And all those of you that rewatch us on the replays, 1 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 a.m., 2 p.m., 5 a.m., 5 p.m., 12 midnight, 12 noon, 6 p.m., 6 a.m., whatever time you watch. Really do appreciate you. Let's get right into our master topic, shall we? Here we go, everyone. It is How to Attract in Life. We're on Series 2, Show 10, Episode 6. Wow. Already on Show 10. I can't believe that. All right. So that means we only have one more day left, which is Episode 7, which is tonight. So you're going to get that later on tonight. So today you're going to get a double dose, which is kind of cool. But this is Thursday's cast. So let's talk a little more about attraction. All right. So the most important thing about attraction is you want to start with a very strong, passionate intention. An intention that's basically going to really drive you. I always say if your intention is not strong enough, then your why is not loud enough. All right. And so let's talk about some types of passion. So you might say, hey, John, I want to make $1 million, or I want to make a lot of money, or I want a relationship. So why do you want those things? So for example, let's say you want a lot of money. Or let's say you just want to make $5,000, or you're just trying to attract that right now. Let's think about what you want to use the money for and how you're going to feel as if you already have the money. See, that's the most important thing. How do you feel as if you already have the money? And act from that perspective. All right. That's the key. So let's say it's a relationship. Well, how do you feel that you're now in this loving relationship? Some people find it really helpful to be able to write down what it is they want, study that a little bit, not word for word, but just get the feeling inside. Thing that I recommend a lot, and it's called, I basically call it the pillow technique. Before you go to sleep at night, um, I recommend sleeping in a position that you don't normally sleep, so you can kind of close your eyes, kind of relax a little bit. And as you're getting in that kind of twilight state, think about something that you really want in your life, but think of it as if it's already happened. Now, I know there are lots of things in the outside world that might appear like they're blocking you, and they're just tests. So you're going to get what you want as long as you follow this little guide I'm going to give you. So the first thing you have to do is to start with a strong passion intention, right? Passion intention is I want $5,000. I want $10,000. So when I have that $10,000, I'm going to be able to buy X. I'm going to feel great when I have that, or just financial abundance. Or when I have this relationship, I know that when I walk into restaurants, when I go places, like I'm going to feel great knowing that I have this person. Remember that a person never completes you, but they only compliment you. So if you're looking for a person to complete you, well, then that's going to disappoint you down the road. So I want to share that with you. So passion, intention. Passion and intention are something that a lot of people get confused. And the reason they get confused is because they don't understand what passion and intention means. Okay. I will tell you, then it's about you in your life. And it's about your passion. It's about that inner desire that we want to amplify. So I want to go back to a lady who actually made a dishwasher. I don't know if you guys remember a while ago. She was the inventor of the dishwasher. All right. Does anybody know who that is? Think about that just for a second. You know what I mean by that. This is pretty cool. I'll tell you that this one lady who invented the dishwasher, okay, was around 1850 roughly, and you know, she had this burning desire to make a dishwasher. And the reason is because she was fed up with a problem in her life. So she was a socialite, and a socialite is basically a very well-off lady that was married to a gentleman, a wealthy gentleman. And this lady was, basically annoyed. Her name was Josephine Cochrane, and it was in Shelby, Illinois. It was by her and the mechanic George Butters. She became frustrated by always finding her plateware, such as plates, cups, and saucers, chipped after washing. And she said, you know what? I'm going to do something about this. And she didn't know how she was going to do anything because she wasn't an engineer. She wasn't technical, but she had people she could rely on. So when you have that seed, I'm going to call it, inside you, it's your job to pay attention to what's going to make that seed grow. All right, now let's talk about this a little more. So you put the intention in there, right? And you keep focusing on it. We know that whatever we persist on will eventually manifest in our life. We know this, all right? The problem is some people say, well, John, I did this. I worked on this, but it didn't manifest. Okay. It's not like you put an order in at your fast food restaurant or even a Capitol Grill or wherever, and you expect it to happen that day. It doesn't work like that. It's a little bit slower. And so, but there's a good reason for that, because if I was thinking about a gorilla or a lion here, it would just manifest right next to me, and that wouldn't be a good thing, right? So the way it works is you have this thought that becomes this desire, which we want to basically fuel. So let's say, for example, you're thinking about making money and you think, oh, gee, would it be great? Okay, now that I have this $5,000, $10,000, I can give some away. I can buy some things I want. It's going to feel great. This is what I'm going to do. I already see myself with the money. All right. How you're going to feel with the money. One of my favorite things to do whenever I've gotten money in the past, and it's always worked for me, is that I have the money. And this is when clients actually give me the money and I'm walking across the parking lot to the bank. Now, usually it's a larger check, because the smaller checks you can do up to a certain amount on the mobile, but you can't when they're over a certain amount of money. So I picture myself walking across the bank parking lot with that envelope, the smile, the feeling I have, and just knowing how that is, and just knowing that that's going to come back again. That feels great. So now when you put this intention in your mind, it's all about you paying attention to the surroundings. All right, so now you just put out there that, I don't know, you want a trip, let's say, for example, and you're paying attention, and suddenly, you're seeing things about trips. Maybe it's entering a drawing. It could be whatever it is, and you're at least paying attention. And so the universe is giving you signs. These signs are, I'm going to call them internal nudges, okay? And we need to take action on these nudges, because if we don't take action, it's like, hey, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You want to manifest this? I do. Yeah. Well, I'm talking to you. I'm trying to give you some help about what to do, and you're not listening to me. And I get it. I get that. So we have to respond in a way that's what I call bristled enthusiasm. I learned this from Brian Tracy many years ago. And bristled enthusiasm is when you have enough excitement that it's kind of popping out of you, but not enough that it would attract people 10 million miles away. It's just enough, like a little bit of a flurry out of you. So it's just enough excitement out of you, but it's kind of like a tempered energy. So the energy is good, but now you're kind of staying a little reserved, and you're detaching from whatever it is that you want. And so when you detach from this, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is absolutely, I think it's absolutely amazing. And the reason I say it's amazing is because this has the ability, ladies and gentlemen, to affect your life. Now, if you're saying to me, hey, John, I don't believe in all this. Well, I hear you. All right. I definitely hear you. And I will tell you that you have to have a little bit of faith. All right. If you don't have a little bit of faith, then anything the universe does is never going to excite you. It's never going to come to where you want to be. All right. I will tell you that it's really important for you to believe. You know my hat here, believe and achieve. So believemeachieve.com. There are going to be people that are going to be naysayers. They say, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. And as much as you want to believe them because you're like, oh, it never worked in the past. Just because it doesn't work in the past or didn't work in the past doesn't mean it's not going to work now. Now, this seed, this thing, you want to keep thinking about it in a way that is playful. And when you do that, different ideas are going to pop into your head. That's how it works. And then you have to take that inspired action. See, that's how it works. You have to take that inspired action, and that inspired action will literally help you to become a better version of yourself, a better version of yourself. And I will tell you that life works well when we celebrate our mini wins. Everyone says to me, hey, John, I want to celebrate that big victory. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad about celebrating a big victory. It's just that let's celebrate the first down, the second down, the third down, and then we'll celebrate the field goal too. A lot of times we get so hung up on the goal that we miss when we're getting close to the goal. And I have to say to you, when things get tough, this has happened in my own life many times, it actually means you're getting closer to the goal. See, as resistance starts to fall away from things in your life, the goal becomes closer. But universe does test you. Are you sure you really want this, John? Are you sure you really want this kind of thing? And this might be like, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to do this fight anymore. There is that final fight. There is that final encounter where you've got to declare that, yes, this is mine. No one's going to take it from me. And you're going to do whatever you need to do. Remember, I said no one has the right to make you feel inferior about yourself. And, you can become successful as long as you don't harm, hurt, defame, or go against another person. Now, that's not mean you can't be competitive. It just means that you have to be unstoppable in a way that is playful, in a way that won't frustrate you, but in a way that's going to keep priming the pump. All right. If any of you have ever pumped something out, maybe you've had a basement. I know my grandparents many years ago, they came back, I think it was from Bermuda. And when they came back, or St. Thomas, they came back and was at their home. And I went downstairs to go get a jar, I think, of applesauce. My grandmother had this whole store downstairs of everything she needed. It was amazing. And my grandfather built this great thing for her on my dad's side. So I went down there. I was about to go down the steps and I was going to get some applesauce. And I'm like, what's the matter? I was like, well, there's a flood down there. They're like, what do you mean? I said, well, there's a flood down there. I couldn't get past the bottom step. And the hot water heater had blown. So, we sometimes look at them like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get through that flood? We all have floods in our life. I mean, we really do. And so when we have a flood, it's like, oh my gosh. And so what happened here in this situation is, we brought plumber in and they put a pump in there. The first thing I had to do is they had to prime that pump. So by priming that pump, they were able to then get the water to then start to flow, just like with your pool, right? You have to put water in the little basket before the pump will start. Otherwise, it's going to be dry and it can't run dry. So in life, we need to prime our own pumps and we have to keep them primed. So if we're running dry, all right, I'm running dry. What do I need to do to prime myself so that I'm still energetic? So I'm still going after that goal. That is the magic, ladies and gentlemen. And if you keep the pump primed, just like we did in this example in the basement where it was flooded, it took several hours to, remove all the water, but I have to tell you, it worked. And then we actually put French drains in and a pump. And now that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, rest their souls. They're both up in heaven right now. All my grandparents are up in heaven. And I'll tell you that it was a pretty interesting thing. And I want to thank, I just want to give a moment to thank my grandpa, Morley, and my grandma, Morley. A little bit sad here at the moment. But I have to tell you, it was a wonderful life. They really stood by my side. they were great because they looked for things to prime my pump. For example, my grandmother, when she would come down to our shore home, she always would have some type of I don't know, some type of a thing for me to do in the morning. I'd visit her in the morning and she'd have these little things, like it would be like Mad Lib or something else. And we would do that, or we would have a craft project. So you always had something for me. She always wanted to stimulate my mind. And my parents were good too, but they were busy. But my grandparents and grandparents, I think, all in general, stimulate the mind. Parents sometimes don't want to say yes to something because, they look at the reality side, where grandparents are like, yeah, we need to give you that freedom. We need to let you explore. And then a lot of times, like my dad will say, like, how can you do that for me? Well, we're his grandparents and we have to support him. And it's not that your parents don't support you. It's just that they're trying to be realistic for the moment. And so your grandparents have that ability to just look beyond you, to look at your potential. Your parents are always looking at, well, if you don't do it X, Y, and Z the way I did it, well, you're not going to be successful. Where your grandparents say, well, even though your parents may not support that right now, they do support you. It's just they're more concerned about you being successful or getting that relationship or whatever it is. And I think it's the same thing in school. If you've ever been in a fight, hopefully you never have. And, you always want to solve that yourself, right? You don't want to tell your parents about it. You always want to solve it yourself. And I think there is a certain ethics to that. And there's also a certain satisfaction with that. So when we learn how to prime our pump, and when it starts to get dry, we need to say, hey, I got to get some more water. But in our case, I need to get some more enthusiasm. I need to keep the pump primed so it pumps enough water, but doesn't pump over what it can handle. And that's what I want to call bristled enthusiasm. Bristled enthusiasm is when you have just enough enthusiasm to keep the pump flowing at so many gallons per minute without making the pump really work harder than it was designed to pump. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. So we were talking today about attraction, starting with the strong passion, intention, or seed that's inside you, inside your heart, and you need to amplify that. Listen and respond to those gut feelings and internal nudges. Take action when you hear them. Celebrate your mini wins, because your mini wins are going to be what gets you to your major win. All right. They're going to get you to your major win. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is probably one of the best things I can tell you, is that we have to understand that. And if you understand that you've got to have that strong desire, that intention, and if you don't have enough motivation, your why is not loud enough. Your why is not loud enough. Hey, I want to make a lot of money. Yeah, so does a lot of people. Why do you want to make that money? What are you going to do with it? How is your life going to change? You need to see your life, as Neville Goddard said, the wish fulfilled. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been a privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you. It's amazing. I'll say evening, but really it's the morning. But this is actually March 9th. Again, I do apologize for getting this out late, but unfortunately, this was beyond my control here with the hotel and syncing some files. They were just slow here. And then, like I said, through the night, looks like things got faster. And then after breakfast, I decided to restream and everything's working great. So I hope you guys really soak up the knowledge, no pun intended, and understand that you can have whatever you want, because whatever you put your attention on and you persist will insist and has to show up. A very wise psychologist once said a long time ago that, if we focus on these internal actions, this internal being, right, where our thoughts are basically going, the energy is going to flow. So what he said is, if we keep doing this, then the outside world and behaviors is actually going to manifest. His name is David Snyder. And so I got to tell you, if you feel like you want to give up, don't, because you're so close to your goal. You're in the final test. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And you know what? I'm going to see you guys later today. I'm going to go explore the rest of my campus today. Actually, yesterday I toured the whole academic side and spent over 5 hours. And today I'm going to spend probably a half a day or more going through all the residential side. They made a lot of changes there. So again, let me know if there's some topic or massive topic you'd like me to cover. Let me know. Also, be sure to watch the premium content on WTBQ every Tuesday morning. Last week, I taught you how to manifest the dreams and desires of your life by using a bottle of water. That content's not available on the IFYL podcast, but it is available on the IFYL Drive Time Radio Talk Show. And pretty soon that'll be coming for premium content you guys can actually purchase. Have yourself a wonderful, amazing day. And I'll be back to you later to give you some more insights to wrap up how to attract. All right. Have yourself a wonderful day. Be positive. Create those seeds of intention. Work on priming your pump. And yes, you will manifest. Thanks so much for supporting me. And I'll see you guys on another cast real soon, everyone. Take care.